Welcome to Women in Public Safety Podcast, where real life meets raw truth. I'm your host, Harriet Westmore. I'm a state parole officer dedicated to unraveling human complexities through true life cases, what we will call Case Chronicles. Join me weekly as we explore gripping narratives from the front lines of law enforcement and social services, from triumph to despair. We will uncover human resilience, vulnerability, and lastly, of course, justice. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media for the latest episodes and to join in the movement for change.
Hey everybody, this is Harriet Westmore with Women in Public Safety Podcast. This is the podcast where we discuss the challenges and triumphs over women who work in public safety fields, whether it's corrections, law enforcement, medical, social services, or human services type work. We discuss it. Whatever it is, we discuss it. So I want to welcome you to another episode. Today's episode is about following your intuitions as a woman who works in public safety. I do Case Chronicles throughout the month. Each month I come with a case study that we will discuss. So before I go into today's topic, I want you guys to hit that like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you want more information about women in public safety, you can please go to publicsafetybywomen@gmail.com. If you have a story or a case study that you would like for me to discuss, please email me at publicsafetybywomen@gmail.com. All right. One of the things I think, and I'm only speaking because I am a woman, from a woman's perspective, that we women, we have intuition. We have good intuition. We have good insight. We can feel the vibe, so to speak, if something is not right or something that just is kind of off and you can't put your finger on it, but you know that there's something that needs to be addressed. I'm gonna give you an example. As everybody know, I'm a parole officer, and I have a parolee or an offender who has just been released from prison and he's now out. So I'm going over his conditions of what he needs, what is expected of him. And I always, we do this. We either can do it in the office or we do it at the offenders or parolees home. My partner and I just so happen to conduct his paperwork and have his paperwork signed and everything at his house. In the meantime, while I'm talking to him and explaining his paperwork and all the conditions that are expected of him to do, and going over his paperwork and for him to sign, my partner is talking to the host, his girlfriend, who is allowing him to stay there at her house. So she's making small talk with the host girlfriend. And I'm not really paying attention because I'm actually conversing with my parolee. But after we left the home, my partner said to me, boy, she has an attitude. And, I was listening, but kind of not. I can hear some of the conversations in the background. But like I said, I was too busy engaging with my parolee. And my partner says, well, she acted like she wasn't happy. She had an attitude today. And I said, why? What happened? And my partner says, well, was asking her how things going, and which I did hear my partner ask her that. And the girlfriend, I guess the way she answered my partner, it raised a flag to my partner that something is going on, but she can't say it at that point because my partner said, when I asked her, how are you doing, how things going, I guess the girlfriend gave her a look. She said, well, it's going. And then she kind of gave her eye contact to the offender, which is her boyfriend at the time, and said he and I were talking and everything. So it already raised a flag to my partner, who thinks something's not right with this. My partner kind of wanted to ask her further questions, but she kind of already figured out what is going on. The girlfriend didn't want her boyfriend to know that she's, kind of giving my partner the signal that something's not right. I said, well, time will tell. I mean, we can pretty much tell how relationship like that, anytime a parolee goes back into the home of a significant other, I would say it's a 50-50 chance that it'll work out. So I said, well, you know what? It'll definitely, if she has an issue with him or something going on, I'm sure I'll get a phone call. In the meantime, later in the day, I get a phone call. It wasn't from the girlfriend, it was from another outsider, someone who knew her and the parolee, because she's renting her house from her landlord. So it was the maintenance man who is responsible for keeping up the property of the house that she's renting. I don't know how, but he somehow got my phone number and he called me. I mean, he's asking questions. He said, well, I'm just curious as to why this offender is out. He has a warrant in the city he has a felony warrant because he did this and this. And I'm just kind of concerned for her, the girlfriend, and her daughter. And I'm asking questions to him. I said, well, how are you related to me? What's the connection? He said, well, I'm the one that keeps up the property. I'm the one that does the maintenance of the house that she's renting from. So, he told me what he supposedly has an outstanding warrant for. And I said, well, I kind of explained the procedure. And I said, well, I'll look into it. And, I'll check it out and see if there is a warrant, then I'll act on it. I'll contact the agency who has filed that warrant, who placed the warrant on him. And he'll be notified to take care of that warrant. And then I got off the phone with him and I was telling my partner of the conversation. So she, because she's right there with me and she heard everything was going. She said, I'm wondering, there is something else is going on. And she's kind of like regretting that she allowing him to come back into the house and to allow him to stay there. So I called a guy back, a concerned citizen, the maintenance man. I called him. I said, is there a way that you can get a hold of her and have her call me and just tell her to give me a call when she can talk when he's not around? And, he said he'll do that. So I'm still waiting on that phone call. But I mean, the point of all of this is sometimes what is not being said also says a lot. Women, I mean, we have our way of picking up signals when something is just off. And we pay close attention to eye contact, to body language, and several instances where I picked up that something is not right or something that somebody wants to say, but they can't say it at the time. So I follow up later on and come to find out whatever it was true, that there is an issue going on. So that's one of the advantages of women who work in public safety. We do have a way of sensing something when something is not right. And I'm not saying that men doesn't have that intuition. I mean, it takes years of experience and just being experienced on the job. But I think women, as from woman to another woman, we pick up on cues that are not necessarily prevalent. That's not necessarily obvious to everybody else, but we can pick up a cue that tells us that something is not right. And then you follow on that intuition. Always follow your intuition. And if you're wrong, no harm, no foul, but at least you did follow up on it. Situation with this, I would definitely follow up. And based on what the maintenance man had told me of what he had said that there's supposed to be an outstanding warrant and what the alleged offense was, that is something I definitely have to follow up on. And, it goes back to saying, for women, single women, especially with kids, we see this all the time. Just be mindful of who you bring into your house and bring around your kids. I know not everybody who's incarcerated are necessarily, they made a mistake. Okay, I'll give you that mistake. But if you keep going back and forth, doing the same thing and keep going back and forth into prison, do you really want that type of person in a relationship as a partner? And especially around your kids. That's something that you have to really consider. We always, again, and I talked about this before in prior podcasts. I think as women, we always want to be the savior. We want to help nurture. We're the nurturers. We want to help our family, want to help the significant others to be what we think the best that they should be. If they can't find that way of helping themselves, we step in and try to, help them. But if they're not willing to help themselves, then nobody can help them. Least of all us as their partner. They have to want to better themselves. There's a lot of career criminals, and it is what it is. That's what they do, and they always gravitate to women who think they are the one that will be able to change them. But if they've been doing this for so long, you can't help them. You can't help them unless they come to the point to where they want to help themselves. They want to change that whole atmosphere, that whole being of who they are. If they want to change that, then that's what they're going to have to do. But them being with you is not going to help. You're getting them, you're providing shelter, you're providing their food, you're providing their clothes, you're taking care of them, and they're still out in the streets doing whatever. And they're going to get caught again, and then they're going to go back to prison, and you're going to be the one that's going to put money on their books and send them food boxes and clothing boxes and all that. And they get back out, maybe a month or two. We always make a bet and see how long this will last. And I know that's like judging, but you do this stuff for so long, you can pretty much can tell who is really serious and who's not, as far as changing their whole being of who they once were to who they want to be. It's a vicious cycle. And after a while, when the spouse or the partner gets tired, then they call us and want to complain and want him out the house because they're mad. But then all he has to do is call her back and, give them some line and say they're going to do better. And then, they want to, forget everything that they told us. And then, it's draining. But at the same time, it's we as first responders or people who are working in this type of profession, you cannot take this stuff serious. You cannot internalize this. It's not you. It's not your fault. You could only give them the tools and the resources to do better. It's up to them whether they want to do better or not. I've seen it. I've seen it all. I've seen some who actually have changed. Very few and far between, but it is doable. It's up to you. You have to change that behavior. You got to get out of that street mentality, that criminal behavior, and want to do better. And and I've seen it happen. But you also have to, as women, we have to follow our instincts. And that's just, and I'm not talking as a public safety professional, but in general too. If you're with a partner or somebody that is only adding to your burden instead of helping you, then you need to rethink about your relationship. Is it worth, just because you think you have somebody, just to say you have somebody by going through all the crap that they are doing? Is it worth it? And then you got to think about your children. Your kids are seeing this. And it's at the end of the day, you got to make a choice. And you are the gatekeeper, you are the keeper, you are the primary caregiver of your kids. And you have to set an example for your children. All right, well, that's pretty much all that I have to say for this week. Please leave your name, please leave your comments below. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. You're on YouTube. If you have any questions or you have a story that you would like me to talk about or a topic, please reach out to me at publicsafetybywomen@gmail.com. And you guys stay safe and be vigilant. And please, please, please take care of yourself first. Take care of your kids before you try to take care of somebody else. All right. That's it. Take care. Bye.